Hey guys, welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So all the ways to support me are in the videos prior to this, and also I just wanted to mention a few things. Oh wow, look, the ball's already going off. Okay, I already know why that's happening, and actually that hasn't happened in a while. Anyways, I wanted to mention that I am having a couple of classes. One class is going to be just for beginners. If you want to learn or grow or evolve your gifts, it's a good class to join. And then I'm going to go on to a true crime class. That's Sebastian right there. That's what we're talking about today. So we're going to go on to a true crime class after that. So if you want to do both, there's a deal. If you want to do just one, that's fine. If you're interested, message me. And then as soon as I get enough interest, which I do have a couple people so far, then we will give you guys a date and a time. It'll be done StreamYards. If you can't make every class, that's okay. It'll be recorded for you. I think he wants me to hurry up and get going. Also, again, the decks, if anybody's interested in getting them cheaper and you want them, then I need a list of 10 people. It has to be serious, and I can get them to you cheaper. Otherwise, if you're interested in the decks, which I will have my own pretty soon, there is a link in the Linktree. Also, I have a new store set up if you want to check that out. A lot of people are asking for pet things and tumblers and things like that. So those are in there. I'm going to be adding about, if you have any ideas about something, maybe you like one of the designs, but I didn't make something that you like it in, let me know and I can try to make it. So I'm probably going to be adding as we go. And I did start the pet mediumship deck. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, if we have 10 people, I can also do the same thing with the bulk shipping. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on with this. All right, so Sebastian has pulled me back in, and I kind of know why. And I've set with the astrology, I've set with things that I've gotten from the beginning. I've kind of gone back on what I originally had. And remember, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And this is for entertainment purposes only. So I questioned, especially because I was being pressured by doubt that didn't belong to me when I was working with other people. And, that's just part of it. People all have their own opinions and it makes you question things. But now with this, I return to, and I've said this over and over, and this was the very first spot that we originally went to, and I can't let it go. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, the only other place I go up to is Cedar Creek, and I think that's either an echo or somebody else. Somebody else could be stronger, or there could be an echo that I'm feeling, and that's why I'm getting pulled up there. Remember that not every place I get pulled to is going to be the person that we're looking for. That's just the way that I work. Sometimes there are stronger spirits that pull you in other directions, and that makes it a little confusing. That makes it a little hard. I understand that. And you also have to understand too that we pick up areas where have been driven by, or may have evidence, or whatever that may be. But I could not leave the area specifically. I kept going back to the dam area over there at Hickory. So I believe Sebastian is at or near Old Hickory Dam. Again, may get pulled to Cedar Creek, but again, I think that there's an echo or someone else. I constantly circle the dam and come back to it, though. It has everything that we've talked about from the first reading on. That would be the Green Bridge. If you guys don't remember, there was a beach ball that came in the reading that ended up being, there was one found in the woods over there. I believe that was a sign. Sometimes I have to sit back and distance myself from the public and from other people to really see, how I'm feeling and make sense of things. There's other things that I remember from going back to the reading, and that would be the electrical towers. That would be the astrology hit there since the beginning. Also, the railroad tracks and things like that. So everything that I've been getting is there. The astrology hits. Cut that out. The astrology hits there. So every time I try to let go or consider another area, spirit pulls me right back. And as you guys know, I've always been focused on the water there. I've never left that general water area other than to go up and down. Because I always get pulled back, and that's the way it works for me. Sometimes I'll pull the other way, and then I'll see if I get pulled back, and I always do. Just Cedar Creek is the only other spot that I get really pulled to, but again, that can be somebody completely different or for another reason. But the dam is different. It holds weight. And again, I know it's been searched allegedly. I know people say he's not there, but what I'm getting and what I keep getting is that he's hidden, wedged, covered, and not visible, and weighted. And it's going to take a shift, maybe water, maybe weather to bring him out. And I think it's interesting that I got a storm or flooding is going to be hitting Tennessee soon. But we have to think of who was allegedly involved and what they did for work and how they know how water works. So I feel like power plant road is significant, and any sort of docks, under or near a dock of some sort. And that came in Elijah's, and I've been getting it again recently, and I'm getting pulled back to this recently. And actually, one of the designs I was working on last night, I was doing Lady Justice for the Karma one, and all of a sudden I started getting hits on Sebastian. So again, it's going to take some sort of big shift. The astrology says July 13th is a turning point. Saturn retrograde and Pisces again. That's containment, water secrets coming undone. I know this might not be popular, and I know people want certainty, but what I have is conviction, and it hasn't changed. So I'm asking again, not out of doubt, but because I believe truth returns to where it began. Recheck Hickory Dam area, recheck the edges, recheck what may be overlooked before, because that's where he is. I feel it in my soul. And on July 13th, the moon will be in Capricorn, moving to conjunct Pluto, the planet of death, secrets, and burial truth. This transit pierces veils. The moon activates emotional undercurrents and forces things into the light, especially things concealed in physical space. In this case, that includes a body trapped beneath water, beneath structure, beneath silence. Mars and Virgo. Action meets precision. Mars, the planet of force, movement, and exposure, will oppose Saturn and Pisces. This is the exact astrological metaphor for what is trapped must be broken free. Now, Mars in Virgo equals exact action. Saturn in Pisces equals watery imprisonment, dam, structures, and energetic delay. Their opposition equals pressure breaking loose, often physically. This could manifest as debris moving, a fisherman pulling something unexpected. And I remember that's been my thing all along, that a fisherman was going to find him. It shows in the astrology as well. And I remember after I finished a vision, that's what I saw. I was seeing the red and blue lights. Like, sometimes people get found how they're meant to be found. So even if the dam is checked again, he's not going to be found until he's supposed to be found, how he's supposed to be found. That's just the way this works. So water level shifting, or simply a moment that cannot be delayed anymore. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, water containment and karma reversed. Saturn begins its backward motion through Pisces, ruling over dams, trapped souls, karmic rebalancing. This is when what was denied begins to unfold. It is the energetic equivalent of, you cannot keep this truth buried any longer. So my summary is, from an astrological standpoint, is that July 12th through the 16th of this year is the strongest window we've had since Sebastian went missing, to bring closure, discovery, and return. The moon lifts the veil, Mars shatters the blockage, and Saturn returns what was withheld. If he's at the dam, as spirit, intuition, and astrology confirm, this is the moment that opens the gate. I see him found not by search crews or sonar, but by a fisherman. And astrology does confirm that, as I just said. Someone casting a line like they've done 100 times before. Alone, maybe with a friend, in quiet. They think it's a snag, a heavy one, but it's not. It's something else. Something they were meant to find. This is how truth returns. Slow, quiet, pulled from the deep. By someone who had no idea they'd be a part of it. So, and things are very easily hidden in water. So regardless if it was searched or not, it doesn't matter. I've learned enough to know now that just because an area is searched doesn't mean a whole lot. Because again, people get found when they're meant to be found. There's been people that have been found after areas have been searched, and I don't even think it was professionally searched. But the astrology confirms what I've always felt. Saturn in Pisces says he's underwater, contained, hidden, heavy. So he is more than likely weighted down, something like that. The moon in Scorpio, that's a body in deep, unmoving water. So not really a river, the lake area, lake type area, or I mean, I know it still moves there, but not like a river. Pluto and Capricorn, that's death beneath infrastructure, like a dock, something that's some sort of infrastructure. And yes, there are docks right by Old Hickory. There's again one off a power plant road. There's towers, industrial walls, and even railroad lines. I saw all of that. So I believe again he was put there, weighted down, maybe by someone who had access, maybe by someone who helped that person. And now the stars are saying the same thing I've said all along. And I've been telling you guys that with every astrology, every reading, it all leans to the same place. It hasn't changed. The time to find him is now. So again, this July 13th window with Saturn retrograding into Pisces, Mars opposing Saturn, and the moon crossing Pluto, that's when hidden breaks loose, and that's when the water gives him back. So I'm saying it again. If you're near the dock off Power Plant Road, look, listen, and feel, because the damn area is ready to speak, and Sebastian is ready to come home. But again, he's going to be found, how he's going to be found, and it's going to be a shock. And again, the fisherman thing has always been something that I've strongly felt. So it doesn't matter if someone goes and looks. If they're not meant to find him, they won't. There's people that look that aren't, that's not part of their soul contract. That's not part of their part in the story. That's just the way that it works. Sometimes people don't find people because of how spirit says they'll act afterwards or what they may use against it. There's always that soul contract or karma thing, or however somebody's supposed to be found is how they're supposed to be found and the timing they're supposed to be found. And we've learned that from cases after case after case. That's just the way that it works. So again, this is an area I always go back to on the map every time I'm on it. I may have been pulled away by other people and other feelings, but I always go back. I circle back. The same thing happened in Quinton when I used to circle the landfill, back in the day. No matter what way I went, even though I tried to go different ways, I still ended up back at the landfill. So that's kind of how my gifts work. If I keep circling an area, it's got to be important. And the astrology says he's not far and he's in water. So, and that obviously can't change, but we've talked about that multiple times. So I wanted to put that out here because we're coming up on this window, and I hope that is true. And I think that's why the balls went off. I don't think anybody hit anything. But he came through kind of this morning, not expecting to. And you guys know, if you've watched me, that I get pulled back to cases at a specific time. And you know that usually when I get pulled back to cases or I get pulled to do an auto write, something usually happens a little bit after the auto write. Just like recently, there was a few things that have happened after that auto write. But whenever I say or get pulled back to a case, look at Elijah. I was pulled back to Elijah's case, and then he ended up being found like a couple days later. Same thing with Dylan. I was pulled back to Dylan's case. He ended up being found a week later. That's just how it works. So there's a reason that I'm feeling the pullback. So I hope I'm right. I'm not God, but I hope I'm right. So thank you. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And I just felt this was important to put out. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, please take care.